Guys, really quick before we get into this episode, this Saturday, April 5th, 16th, 16th. I said 15th because this episode is going to come out on the 15th. Tyler and I and a few of our listeners are going to be playing Clash we're Pacific Standard Time. So I believe it starts at 5:15 p.m. I'm going to be streaming on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/DMPTV. It is in the server. Everything is there in the description. Linktree, hit it. And I'll probably be streaming a little bit before we play too. I've been playing Dark Souls a little bit more, so come hang out. We're probably gonna get shit on, but that's no big deal. We're gonna have some fun. We haven't played Clash in a while, so we actually have a chance to.
I've never played Clash ever.
I think we played once. Whatever, it doesn't matter. On to the episode. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. It is
Happy Friday, y'all.
Champion review time.
Good Friday.
You think it is Good Friday, right?
Yeah, it is Good Friday.
Well, it's good because we're talking about Master Yi and Morgana.
Is that good, Master Yi?
No. But it's good that we're talking about champions. I don't know.
It is very good that we're talking about them.
Super quick. And I said this to you earlier. I want to shout out, and we don't usually go over poll or questions from the first episode of the week, but I just want to shout out Andrew for letting us know that Ingenious Hunter does work with non-active items.
Andrew hitting the correction. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
So
I should have checked that before I opened my big fat mouth, but you know.
It was back in patch 1023, which is
a while
nuts.
ago, yeah.
So that means really quick that it's 35 seconds, right? Is what it got lowered to, the Umbral Glaive, right? It was 35 seconds now.
Yeah.
So if you stack up that Ingenious Hunter, that's another 50 ability haste.
Yep, you half off.
It's gonna get low. So run that.
Low. Yep.
And now going to the poll
Umbral,
from our Jackson Kale episode.
Cool, yeah. It looks like
it's
pretty split.
We asked, with both champions being full build and at level 18, who do you think would win a 1v1? And Jax won with 62%.
Yeah, about 2/3 of us said that Jax would win, but that's closer than I thought it would be.
I think the only reason
when I say it's split, I really mean that.
Is because Jax has a helicopter dick.
I literally, that's all I could think of, like helicopter dick versus invulnerability, but I feel like their attack speed's going to scale to be pretty similar. Mm-hmm. And it's just who can bonk who harder, and Jax generally has more health. But I guess technically the AoE damage still comes through on Kale, so
right.
That would be tough. You would have to put them both on a full build and let the AI do it.
Run it like 1,000 times tests or whatever.
Right.
And our Q&A from last week's episode is, you have the power to redesign Jax's ult. What do you do? And Gungnir7 wrote in and said, how about tying in Jax's lore with the flame in his lamp? So in addition to his passive, it's already has, when he auto attacks, it hurls fire around in AoE to give him more agency in a team fight. That's all we need, is more AoE from him.
Yeah, right, from that guy.
That would be interesting though. Like, while what's his ult called? Grandmaster's Might or whatever? Is that what it's called?
Something whatever. Like that. I almost called it Grandmaster Flex, dude. It's a Grandmaster Duel or Grandmaster Duelist or something like that.
Great question. But just imagine, like, because there's champions that are like, oh, while this champion is ulting, another ability gets a bonus, Might. Or so you imagine Jax's like AoE like fire.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's kind of gross. I look at his weapon and I think Wriggle's Lantern, as I feel like you're supposed to, and like I think that says all you need to know about Jax, really.
Yeah, Grandmaster's Might.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, Grandmaster, you were right with Might. I think Grandmaster Flex just sounds more fun though, because Grandmaster Flex. But anyways, pretty simple. That was our only response to the question. I think that's a tough question to answer, honestly. I couldn't even think of anything, and usually if I can think of something, I like to throw a response out there so people can see it and maybe be inspired and create. But I couldn't think of jack shit, so good on you, Gungnir, for getting that out there. I hope I'm saying that right.
I think you are.
But without further ado, I said let's move on to our first champion of the day. Who do we got?
Master Yi. Now,
Mr. Free.
not much has changed.
No, he's pretty much the same if I can recall.
Jesus, I did not realize his queue is so detailed. There's so much writing in his queue.
I didn't realize there's a lot of nuance
You see that?
in his queue either.
'Cause I'm-
But I guess we should start with this passive, yeah?
yeah, go for it.
This passive, the double strike. Master Yi's basic attacks on hit grant a stack of double strike for 4 seconds, stacking up to 3 times, with the duration refreshing on subsequent attacks. At 3 stacks, Master Yi's next basic attack on hit consumes the stacks to strike twice. The second strike dealing 50% AD physical damage. Basically, he gets 2 hits, the second hit does half damage.
And then
Go
I would say
ahead.
looking at his previous passive,
Right.
it used to increase dodge chance, so they were really big on the dodge.
They were.
That's so weird. And then doubled while meditating or Highlander's active.
Active, yeah. And then looks like a couple little nuances. Says the second strike applies on hit and on attack effects at 100% effectiveness and is affected by crit modifiers. Basically means even though it only does 50% physical AD damage, you still get, like, if you have on hit things like Ginsu's or whatever, you get those at 100% of what they are. So you're just taking the basic attack and reducing that by 50 and then adding everything else onto it. It does say if Master Yi's primary target is killed before the second strike, he automatically attacks another enemy within 300 range. I didn't know that.
I did not know that either.
I had no idea. That's actually fucking stupid. You hit someone and you just pop another person. 300 range is, was it double his regular attack range? What's his regular attack range?
That's about right. Let's see. Attack range is
125. Yeah, so a little bit more than double his regular range, that's pretty good. And then I also didn't know that the second strike can crit structures.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I cared enough, but yeah.
Like we said, by the way, that was the only old, like, different
Passive.
was nothing. Everything else is the same, aside from, there were some scaling changes and APE was a thing. This is really straightforward. W, meditate, he heals, and he takes a little bit less. He takes 50% less damage while meditating. Oh no! Wow, it's more than that. It's 60 to 70. I did not realize it was that much. Max out is 70% less damage while meditating. That is fucking insane.
Jesus.
And also it pauses Highlander, right?
I think so.
Which is
it pauses Wuju style and Highlander.
There you go. So
and you gain a stack of double strike. I had no idea.
That's so overloaded. Holy shit.
If the channel's canceled, Master Yi reduces incoming damage for another quarter second with lesser effectiveness against non-turret damage, but greater effectiveness versus turret damage.
Have you ever seen...
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, have you ever seen, like, Yi's just fucking going for the tower dive, and then as that turret shot, it's just really quick taps it just to block that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's fucking gross.
That is gross. Oh, do we go over all the stuff in his queue in the Alpha Strike?
I mean, I don't think there's that much to... He fucking hits up to how many? 4 people. He disappears. One-shots you.
Yeah. I think the most broken part about that skill is the way he can dodge skill shots with it, right? Like, if you're playing Morgana, good luck.
Unless you use your ult. I think ult will...
Do you lose him on the ult?
I don't think so.
It is a tether, but I don't know.
I think it still connects.
Yeah. But if you're trying to throw a Q at him, you're not going to hit it. He's just going to fucking either flash or Alpha Strike over it, so... Good luck with that. And then I think it also hits with Wuju and all the other bonuses. It's fucking broken.
It's yeah, you think like Yi is this one just gonna run at you auto attack. There's so many. I mean, if you see what's the streamer name? I don't know if you watch Cowsep. He's a dude that wears the cow stuff and he's a Yi one trick. That dude's fucking insane at Master Yi.
Is he?
Yeah, he's pretty good. But again, I mean, you can only watch that. Yi feels like a fucking highlight champion where you see him getting like a
Yeah.
pentakill in like 1Q.
Yeah.
Think
I can totally see that.
it's yeah. So WE empowers it to do bonus true damage, and he gains damage when it's not on cooldown. Highlander gets this is. I feel like we could have skipped Yi and we would not have missed anything because there's just a whole lot of
It's
nothing.
pretty straightforward.
We'll say, looking at Highlander, did not realize he cleanses when he uses it.
Only slows and...
Okay.
What the hell's a cripple? Oh, wait, yeah, what the hell is a cripple? A unit's crippled has reduced attack speed. Oh, so he cleanses exhaust with that. Jesus.
What about... Will that apply to, like, Frozen Heart?
Probably.
Wow.
Probably, and I know that you can't be... Yeah, you get immunity, so yeah, Frozen Heart doesn't do anything to that. I didn't even know that. Oh my goodness. I will say there's one thing to note on the... You're right, because you could pretty much skip through all this, right? There's really nothing important. Even when you hit the little details tab, there's really nothing here that's...
New.
shows
Changed.
anything. Right. But when you look at his queue, the details tab is so long. And that just tells you that is his signature skill, right? That is the one move that he has that's overloaded. Meditate seems overloaded, but Q really is. The Alpha Strike really is overloaded. So he gets cooldown reduction on on the structures with the Alpha Strike. I didn't know that. Wait, it says when Master Yi bounces from a unit, it'll grant vision in a 600 unit radius around it for up until 0.627 seconds. What the hell kind of number is that? And that's after Alpha Strike ends.
What is this?
Including across terrain, though not into brushes. It will always grant vision around the primary target, even if he doesn't bounce off it.
This
Okay.
this looks like Zeri patch notes. What the fuck is going on?
Right. Let's see. Alpha Strike's damage is calculated the moment the mark is placed. Because of this, it is possible to inflict differing amounts of damage if Master Yi changes his AD in the middle of Alpha Strike. Is that like getting a Gathering Storm?
Yeah, or if his because when his E is not on cooldown, he gains his flat damage.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
And then the E takes that away and gives it true damage.
Right. I know he follows targets.
God, that's so like there's just so much to.
Right. If the primary target becomes untargetable and there are no other nearby valid targets, Alpha Strike will end prematurely and will not deal damage occurring after Master Yi's reappearance.
Wait, hold on. I'm looking at
Fizz.
this bottom one. It says basic attacks on hit reduce Alpha Strike's cooldown by 1 second. Okay, we know that. Alpha Strike hits a target. The duration of Wuju Style and Highlander are refreshed by their current duration. What?
Huh. Alpha Strike does not trigger its cooldown reduction nor grant a stack of Double Strike when applying on-hit effects.
Wait, so if he gets that the Double Strike, is that what I'm reading? The duration of
Just Wuju and Highlander, I see.
so that extent. Wait, refreshed by their current duration. What does that mean?
It's a great question. What do you mean by... Yeah, what is...
So current durations.
Oh, maybe however much is left, it just like starts right back. So like if you use it, that just means I think that it pauses while he's using it. Like if it's Alpha, because Alpha Strike can take a second or two. So it probably just means it gives you however long he's in Alpha Strike, gives you that time back on those.
Okay,
abilities.
so that's the pause.
That's what I think that they say refresh, but if it's refreshed by the current duration, it just tells me like, okay, whatever's left, like you just start that number. So if it's like 7.5, it just goes back to 8 seconds or whatever. So I don't think it's a big deal. If Master Yi enters Resurrection during Alpha Strike and he is only focusing on one target, the ability will deal the reduced damage strikes as normal and the final tick of damage after being resurrected.
What?
Huh.
I did not.
If he's striking multiple targets, Alpha Strike will sometimes deal the reduced damage from repeated bounces and the main damage after being resurrected, and sometimes only the reduced damage, unrelated to the number of targets available. What does that even mean? I didn't know. Okay, here's the other thing too, is all the things you can do while he's performing Alpha Strike. You can cast abilities, except for Meditate. You can use... so you can't use consumables, but you can use any of the summoner spells, except for Flash, Teleport, Recall, and Hex Flash. And it can only be interrupted by death.
You can also go into the bathroom and jerk off and come back and one-shot the enemy team.
Yeah, basically. But that's pretty much it.
I'll say there's a little bit more that at least you learn a little bit extra. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna read all this shit. I know what Yi does.
There's
He's run
too
at him,
much.
Q, dead.
Yeah, there's too much, and there's not enough like to really go off of, right? He's a pretty simple champion, which is what makes him decent, especially in low elo. But yeah, I think beyond that, there's nothing else. Now I am looking at his previous versions, and it does mention some quotes, and it says, "Does he not say 'My blade is yours' when you pick him anymore?"
I think he does.
Because on there it says previous versions, it says, "My blade is yours" upon pick. Let's see. No, he still says that. He must have said it in an old audio style.
Yeah, they probably changed his voice.
Yeah. And can we talk about his eyes though? Why he and Jax have 6 eyes or 7 eyes or however many it is? And also Chosen Master Yi, that's just basically Jedi Master Yi. That's a good one too.
Probably the best skin.
It's pretty good. Headhunter's pretty good. He hasn't had like a really good one in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to talk about Master Yi, guys. I wish I had more, but there's really like we said, not much to go off of. He's pretty straightforward.
Just ban him. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously though, like he can be pretty stupid.
Unless you know how to like hard. It was funny. I was just talking about we were talking about Zeri, and if the only strategy to stop a champion like that is to CC and 100% to zero them, they're broken.
There's a problem, right?
Yi, I don't know. Maybe one day they'll rework Yi, but I feel like he's so
one-dimensional. I think is why I'm so bad at this champion.
I think he's just too like for beginners. Just run at him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. And before we get to Morgana, we're gonna take a quick break. All right, we are back. Kale's sister.
We are back.
So, Morgana did get the visual update. Thank God. She looks so much better.
Yeah.
Let me see what she used to look like. Well,
pretty.
I mean,
I don't remember what her model looked like, but I remember her splash art looked pretty bad.
Let's be fair. They just made her hotter.
They did. She needed it, though. I mean, okay, so, like, in fairness, she's had, 3 splash art updates, too, I think?
I'm looking.
4 splash art updates with the current one. Her very original was, if you've ever seen the original Exiled Morgana skin, it is literally the same as that, obviously, just a different color. And then her second one, she actually looks more like a drow or a dark elf or a night elf of some sort. Even though she's supposed to be an angel, she looks like a drow. And then the third one is the one that we had seen for a very long time. That was the most common one that you've probably seen all over the place. And then they came out with her newest one, which is just, it looks good.
It's really good.
It does look really good. I like that they changed her hair up. It's a little bit more anime, but I feel like it fits her better.
Pretty sure it kind of looks like Kale's, right? Unmasked Kale. I think their hair is
sort
similar.
of, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of.
And it should be. They should look pretty similar. But her VG was really good though. I mean, all of her skins got a gorgeous looking update too, and she's been around for so long with so many different splash arts that she was one who was in need of a good splash art update as well. You know, so that was nice to see. But other than that, I think her skills are pretty much the same. Even when I look at like her previous abilities, it doesn't say what her first innate did. It was called Empathize. It doesn't say what it did, but I'm assuming that's because it's the same fucking skill. Like her skills really haven't changed over the years.
Yeah,
the names may have changed. They call it Soul Siphon, but
when they changed her, I think they just gave her a few quality of life things. Like,
yeah,
I mean, the biggest thing I remember is for her ulti, they gave her movement speed moving towards targets.
She needed that. Oh man, she needed that so bad.
Fucking great.
Right. But let's break it down. Obviously, her soul siphon, and there's actually a little bit about this I didn't know. So it says heals. Morgana heals herself for 20% of the post mitigation damage. I didn't know it was post mitigation damage. Dealt by her abilities against champions, large minions, and medium and large monsters. That just means basically, if they have MR and you cast a spell on them, you're gonna be healed for the damage, 20% of the damage dealt after the calculation of their MR. So if you're trying to hit an Ornn, you're probably not gonna get shit.
Right.
And that's all that says. It used to be called Spell Vamp, and they used to just run it that way. They no longer call it that, so they had to change the wording. It hasn't changed, at least to my knowledge. Nothing has actually changed in the way it works.
Of course, everyone knows her Q. You get stunned rooted. You get rooted for 4 years.
A million years. I think if you can get to it, the debuff on your screen actually has a funny thing about how long you're stunned for or rooted for.
Yeah.
I believe, and I'll see if I can find that. You keep going over those skills. I'm gonna see if I can find that.
Yeah, I mean, again, kind of similar to Yi. Is very straightforward champion. Very good for beginners, I think.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Can be used.
It says, Dark Binding's debuff reads, "This unit is unable to move. Lasts roughly 3 years." And that's how it fucking feels when you get hit by that thing, dude.
For real. So yeah, Q, she's really good. She's a good support. She's a good, if you build full AP, she's also gonna hurt. I used to play a lot of full AP Morgana mid, just because her her W, if you get like one item, and this was before Mythics, but if you got one item, you could pretty much just throw your W on caster minions, and it would just melt them. Like you just
throw
them a push.
Yep.
One thing
that was a shit that. The mid, I think, was an old Rod of Ages style build, right?
Yeah, probably like Leandry's, Lot of Ages, Rylai's.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, of course, another quality of life thing they changed was that Tormented Soil's cooldown is reduced by 5%, astronomical. Yep. Whenever you hit someone with, when it's, they're taking the dot damage from the...
Yeah, whenever you
your Q or R,
get your passive going. Yeah. So whenever Soul Siphon triggers, it starts reducing the cooldown, and 5% doesn't seem like that much, but the cooldown on the Tormented Soil drops really fucking fast. The only problem is that it's a super expensive skill to use in terms of mana cost. At max level, you're burning 130 mana just to use it, and given the lack of mana items in the game now, you have to be a little bit selective on how you're using it, if that makes sense.
That's why a lot of people were playing her jungle last year, and obviously they nerfed it since, but her W used to do a lot more damage to jungle creeps,
and it still does good damage to them too, but yeah.
It's basically perma up, and of course it deals more damage based on missing HP, so it's it's good clear, she's healing herself. It's probably still viable. Yeah, it's probably still good.
Yeah. It says it does 155% damage against non-epic monsters, so that's pretty good.
It's really good.
I mean, it itself doesn't do a ton of damage, but because of how it works and how much you can get on maximum damage, yeah.
Black Shield, again, everyone knows it.
Straightforward.
Great. Probably, I mean, there's a few champions that have spell shields, but they usually get consumed by one attack. Right, this stays unless the shield gets broken, right?
Correct. Now, here's something I didn't know is Black Shield does not resist nearsight. Nearsight, I believe, is caused by Nocturne,
Graves,
Quinn, and Graves.
I'm trying to
I think those are the only ones that have nearsight.
I'm trying to think if I could... Can I GP cleanse Nocturne ult?
No, I don't think so.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Here, nearsight. Let's see. Oh, no. Removed by cleanses with the exceptions of Yoni's Soul Unbound Recast, Cleanse, and Mikhail's Blessing. So, yes, you can cleanse out of it with GP. Black Shield also negates crowd control, as we all know, but it negates the crowd control effects before any magic damage is absorbed. Even if the shield is broken by enemy's ability, its associated disables will not apply. except for shield destroying effects such as Ruthless Predator, which is Renekton's, and Static Field, which is Blitzcrank's ult.
Right, because they destroy shields instantly.
Right.
Okay.
And then it will not prevent any other effect other than crowd control unless absolutely necessary. As such, an ability that has two different mechanics, like Malzahar's ulti, Nether Grasp, will not suppress a target protected by Black Shield, but the tether still applies.
Right.
That's actually good to note, too. And then it does say that Black Shield can stop Alawi's Test of Spirit pull. So that's also interesting to know. It's an interesting skill. It's got a lot of little caveats and stuff like that.
There's more to it than just, oh, I'm gonna, spell shield you so you don't get hit by like a Lux Binding or like a,
Right. There is an interaction too with Sivir's spell shield. The Sivir spell shield actually takes precedent over Black Shield.
Interesting.
So if she uses it, she actually gets the reward of her spell shield, which is the mana. Even if you also hit the Black Shield on it. Now, that could be used to your advantage. You can cast them both at the same time and still be prevented. Because sometimes when you're playing against a Sivir, you try to pop her shield with something kind of innocuous. That way you can actually use your crowd control on her. But if she has the Morgana, the Black Shield stays on her. And doesn't take the damage from the spell shield block,
Mm-hmm.
So it does have some good stuff. And then the other thing to note is it does take priority over regular shields. However, I think it says if you're using it in conjunction with Lifeline, the most recently applied shield will take precedent. And then to note, if an allied bard casts Tempered Fate and you're in it with Morgana, you cannot block it with Black Shield. Only when you're the enemy. Which is an interesting little piece to note because I didn't know that.
Like we said, her ultimate is the same. It got the little quality of life where she gains movement speed up to 55% movement speed at max rank of her ult. I did not realize it was that much because it goes 5. Okay, that's astronomical. 5, 30, and then 55. Those are big jumps.
Yes.
55 movement speed is a lot.
It's interesting that they did that too, because the strategy with the Soul Shackles is to Zonia's, right? Get in the middle and then Hourglass right there with it out so you don't take any damage. So it's interesting that they added the move speed. I like it. I think it gives her a little bit more agency and a little bit more to do with the ability, because it's always felt like you just need to get into as many people, hit it, and then stopwatch or hourglass or whatever stasis you have,
and hope they don't walk out of the area.
Exactly.
A little bit of chase down. It's good.
Right. And then a little another note on this one is that Spell Shield will block the tether's application and initial damage, but not the after effects of one that's already applied. So I don't really know what the fuck that means, because if you're blocking the initial tether, then well, I don't think there's anything else. But
does it have to do with the fact that the tether slows and then there's a stun afterwards?
But if it blocks the tether, only stuns if you keep it, right?
Right.
If it blocks the application of the tether, then I don't know.
When we come across these things, we're just gonna say the Zeri
effect.
Yeah, the Zeri effect.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Meaning we don't know what the fuck it. I'm sure it makes sense somehow, but
it probably does.
We don't know.
You're probably 100% right. But yeah, beyond that, I don't think there's really much else to say. I mean, she definitely has. She doesn't have the most skins, but she's got some of the most unique skins, right? Things like Exiled Morgana, which is not really in anybody else's skin line, right? Blade Mistress was a skin line that was around, and so was Blackthorn, but those aren't skin lines that see much use. Ghost Bride obviously was unique to her. She did get a Victorious.
I wish I had that Victorious. The Victorious Morgana is so good.
Yeah, I wasn't good enough to get it in that season, but that's such a good skin.
I don't even think, were we playing? Was that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Season 3
that was the
reward?
No, that was season 5.
No, it wasn't.
It was the second season we're playing.
No, it's older than that.
You sure about that?
Released
Released 2014? Might have been season 4.
Hold on.
It released
I'll bet money on that.
November 11, which I believe is season 4. And then of course she has her bewitching skin, and that just got a prestige. Dawnbringer and Coven are actually, and Majestic Empress. Those are 3 new skin lines that I actually really like, and so I like that she has these. Um,
The update on Sinful Succulence is so good. I love the way it looks now.
oh yeah, it looks way better with the
Ugh,
little gingerbread men running away and stuff.
it's so good, dude.
um, but yeah, there's not really much else to say about her. She definitely had some good icon updates too.
Right.
The first Dark Binding icon is pretty cartoonish in design, and the Tormented Soil didn't really need much of an update. It's kind of the same. It just made it a little more flowy. Doesn't look any different to me, really.
Kind of off topic, but going back to the Exiled Morgana, apparently that shares the same universe with Woad skins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Battleborn Kale, because that's her. She's in the splash art. Yeah, yeah.
I know Battleborn Kale, but like,
Yeah,
what is
Woad.
the Woad? Why?
Woad is it. What is? Oh my God, Woad skin universe. I remember that.
Woad Ash, and isn't there Woad Tryndamere?
Darius and Quinn. Woad
Okay.
Tribe is a series of alternate universe skins in League of Legends set in an alternate for Eliord. It features champions as members of the Woad Tribe. So I'm assuming Kale Morgana are probably just like gods or something they worship, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Some go read about it.
Very
But yeah, that's it. This was a short one, man.
short. These 2 champions haven't had really any changes that are worth noting in terms of like skill differences. No reworks, just minor things, you know.
Any suggestion for a poll?
Oh man, you know, I would have to ask. That's not really a poll question though.
Sure. What question then?
Um, we know Master Yi is definitely like an entry level style champion, right? Meant for
Okay.
new players.
Yeah.
Where would you put Morgana? I feel like you could be really bad at the game and still be okay with Master Yi, but I don't feel like you have that same ability with Morgana, right? Because everything she has is pretty much a skill shot. Everything important she has is a skill shot, right? And I think I personally, I think she's a little bit on the easier side, but I don't think that she's necessarily a beginner champion, if that makes sense.
So you want to ask everybody where they would classify like her skill, like the
Yeah,
skill
her
it
skill
takes.
level.
So
Yeah.
like entry, average, maybe above average.
Yeah, I guess you could make that the poll. That
Okay,
makes sense
cool.
because there's multiple options there, and there's not like a whole slew of options, right?
Um, let's double down on both the question and poll being Morgana. I just want to know what your favorite Morgana skin is. Just
Ooh,
we'll
that's a
ask
good
everyone
one.
that. What do you have one right now? Can you say it right now?
Ooh, do I have one? You know, I really like Dawnbringer, but I've been back and forth between Coven and Majestic Empress.
Coven.
They're
Yeah.
so good. I think I would go with Coven, but I use both of them, and the chromas on both of them are also so good.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good.
So yeah, guys, let us know what your favorite Morgana skin is, and
Yeah,
how where you think she classifies in a skill level. Next week should be a good one.
next week should be a really good one.
Nunu and Willump and Rise, and we all know, obviously, Nunu and Willump got a
Oh,
rework.
yeah.
Rise has had 69. Next week's episode is gonna be 4 hours long.
It'll be 420 hours, dude. Because if Rise had 69 changes, and Nunu was just Nunu back in the day, guys. So
Mhm. That's gonna
that should
do
be a
it.
good one. Actually,
That
I
is,
like that.
yeah, that is gonna do it, guys. Give us a rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I feel kind of weird because Spotify is the only place where you guys can answer questions. So I know we have people listening on
Yeah.
Apple. You have Apple reviews, sure, but there's, I'm sure there's other places where people are listening to, and I feel kind of bad that we can't include you. So we keep saying this: submit if you want to answer our questions or our polls, what you voted. Just use the voice submission. Just do that, and we'll listen to
You,
it and we'll
you,
respond to it.
you do the voice submission. You can submit an answer on the Discord.
Yeah.
You can send a DM, Instagram, Twitter, Discord. Yeah, if you just don't use Spotify for podcasts, which is fine.
Right.
We have other options that are available to you. Get creative. I like the voice option the best because I think that's the most fun that you can do. You can really have fun with what you're saying. You're not limited to characters or anything like that. But if you don't want to talk or you don't want your voice to be shared, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Submit it one of these other means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys, that's going to do it. We will see you next week. We're going to be talking about some Swain changes
Yes.
and Olaf changes. And they're
Yes.
very, they've been smoking some good shit over there at
I was gonna
Riot,
say they are
Riot Games.
questionable at best.
So, guys, enjoy your weekend and
Yes.
good luck in your games.
Happy Easter, y'all.